Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Toronto, Canada. I am Elsa Abraham, and in this episode we are bringing you African news. Here is your headlines. Ethiopia to welcome mediation of Turkey with Sudan. And in our next story, trial starters as Bekele, Jawa Etel as hunger strike triggers protest. Egyptian government also receives parliament support in Jerd dispute. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll get our news in details. Welcome back from that short break. Now, if offered, Ethiopia would appreciate the Turkish government's mediation on the recent border conflict with Sudan, said the Ethiopian Foreign Ministry spokesperson on Tuesday. In an exclusive interview with Anadolu Agency, Ambassador Dina Mufti underscored that the Ethio-Sudanese border conflict could be solved through diplomatic means. With a 1,600 kilometers, 994-mile long shared border, Ethiopia and Sudan face issues regarding the Fashaga Triangle, a decades-long disputed border without hard demarcation. The spokesperson, who also appreciated the constructive relations within the Horn of Africa, despite the recent issues with Sudan, without exaggerating, we now have a great relationship with Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, Kenya, and Sudan, despite the unfortunate border situation that is created the other day, he added. He also urged cooperation and the creation of a grow together spirit throughout the region. The relationship in the Horn of Africa is changing for good. However, we need to cooperate in this regard, he also noted. Regarding the operation in Tigray, he said Ethiopia has already started rehabilitation and widened the humanitarian aid reach throughout the whole region. So far, 80% of the region has been covered. The rest is eventually opening, and Ethiopia mobilizes its aid to that area too, Dina added. Mentioning the misinformation campaign against the country, he said some forces make a fortune out of the crisis in developing countries, while Ethiopia, we want Ethio-Turkish relations to flourish, reminding the strategic bilateral ties. Dina Mufti told Anadolu Agency that Ethiopia wants the relations to flourish in various areas, including developmental, security, and economic. During their visit to Turkey on February 15th to 16th, the ambassador said Ethiopia and Turkey's foreign ministers had discussed further strengthening of socio-economic and security ties. On February 15th, Ethiopia and Turkey have celebrated the 125th anniversary of diplomatic relations as Demeke Makonnen and the Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister arrived in Turkey for a brief work visit. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu, with his counterpart Demeke, has also inaugurated Ethiopia's new embassy building in the capital of Ankara. Moving on to our next story for today, trial starters as Bekele, Jawa Etel's hunger strike triggers protest. After protests broke out in Oromia, defense attorney Kadir Bulo told Ethiopia Insight on 16th February that a hunger strike by the Jawa Mohammed, Bekele Gerba, and fellow detainees that began on 27th January is still ongoing. According to Kadir, the strike is in protest at the undue imprisonment of Oromo members and supporters of the opposition parties, including the Oromo Federalist Congress, the party that Jawa and Bekele are senior members of, and against extrajudicial killings and imprisonment by the federal government. Kadir added that the defendants believe the federal government is systematically including Oromia-based opposition parties from the political arena. They demand an end to interference in opposition party activities, as well as the release of over 5,000 prisoners who they say have been detained due to their legitimate political activities. The protest against the inhumane conditions of Colonel Gemetru Ayana's detention also cited as a reason for the strike. Colonel Gemetru served in the Ethiopian army until he fled the country and joined the Oromo Liberation Front, the OLF, in 2006. He re-entered Ethiopia with other OLF members in September 2018 and was arrested on 17th February 2019 on terrorism charges. According to the defense attorney, Gemetru's condition has recently improved. Kedir described Jawa and other co-defendants' current situation as worrying. He said that although they have received medical care from private doctors over the past week, the prison administration won't allow the defendants to be treated in a hospital outside the prison, which the doctors deem to be very necessary. Upon the defense's 15th February request, the High Court ordered the prison administration to allow the striking defendants to receive medical treatment at the landmark hospital. However, Kedir told Ethiopia Insight that Bekele, who is found in the worst health of all the striking defendants, has been taken to the Hayloch military hospital in contradiction of the court's order and against the will of the defendant and his doctors. The Oromo Federalist Congress released a statement on 17th February denouncing a perceived government relapse into undemocratic ways. The party condemned the decision to imprison high-ranking members and supporters of their party over what they claim to be fabricated crimes. The statement posed three main requests for the federal government, Ethiopian people, and international community. The first states that party members on hunger strike are in critical condition and at risk of their lives. It therefore asks that the government to allow striking members to receive necessary medical treatment. The second request is for federal government to release without any precondition members of the party who are imprisoned over fabricated crimes. The third ask is that the people of Ethiopia and the international community to press the Ethiopian government in order to hold it accountable for and put an end to its coercive policies and procedures. Judges rejected Jawa's request to move hearing to avoid attack. In support of the striking defendants, demands protests occurred in multiple cities across Oromia, according to Addis Ababa Standard. Now, since 5th February 2021, protests were held in Ambo, Dardawa, Woliso, Nekemete, and the Shashamane, and several other places. Addis Standard said in some instances, authorities used excessive force, resulting in an unknown number of injuries and at least one fatality. On 27th January, the Federal High Court was scheduled to hear the defendants' plea to their charges. However, they refused due to the fact that family members had been banned from attending the hearing. Supporters of the defendants wearing yellow clothing to display solidarity were also not allowed to enter the premises of the court. The court also postponed the hearing of 4 February. All media personnel and observers from the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission were banned from attending. Standing at the gate of Lideta Court on 4th February were many men and women dressed in yellow to show support. Again, the defendants refused to enter their plea. According to Kedir, the defense made complaints to the court against the media ban. In return, the court ordered that media outlets no longer be banned from attending. Judges added that it is not permissible for attendees to wear yellow clothing, as that is considered an interference in the judicial process. The next session of the court hearing is scheduled for 1st March. And in our last story, Egyptian government received parliament support in Jed dispute. The Egyptian government received parliament support in its handling of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam dispute. On Monday, the Parliamentary Agriculture, Irrigation and Food Security Committee, headed by Hasham al-Hosari, agreed to Minister of Water, Resources and Irrigation Mohammed Abdel Ati's statement before legislature, weeks ago, in which he explained the government's plan to address water challenges. The challenges, he said, include water shortages and a growing population. He stressed the importance of explaining the ministry's plan to confront these challenges, develop the irrigation system, replace and rehabilitate drainage and irrigation stations, and spread awareness among citizens to conserve water. Abdel Ati, for his part, said the drought is one of the most significant challenges facing the country. In light of our 97% dependence on the waters of the Nile River, we have so far failed to reach a binding agreement on filling and operating the dam. He added that nothing that Egypt is facing is second challenge related to climate change. Among the challenges are the increase in population and the shortage of water resources, as we currently need 114 billion cubic meters annually, while we only have 60 billion meters available, he explained. Cairo fears the potential negative impact of drought on the flow of its annual share of the Nile's 55.5 billion cubic meters of water. Ethiopia has been building the dam on the main tributary of the Nile since 2011, and the Ministry of Water, Irrigation and Energy announced it had completed about 78% of the construction so far. Negotiations that took place under the auspices of the African Union between Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan were suspended after they failed in January to reach a consensus on the rules for filling and operating the dam. This is where we end today's episode of African News. Make sure you like, share, comment. Let us know your thoughts on this particular episode. Thanks for watching.